and you're eating your soup.
Doing all right. Where are you at right now?
So I'm in Barnsley. I've been in Manchester for like the past like weekend because
I was gonna say I was seeing some photos flying around the internet of you gallivanting around.
Yeah. So no, I'm back in Barnsley right now though.
Nice. Thanks for being on, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah. All right. Should we get started, Dan?
How was well, before we get started, how was Manchester, more importantly?
That was good. Like, I mean, like we didn't really do that much. We just kind of like walked around. He showed like I was with Zach and then one of his friends was there. So like we were just like walked around the city, showed me a restaurant.
So you're with a resident celebrity at that point. What's that look like? A little bit different?
I mean, like I don't know. I mean, like I was trying not to like, be like, oh wow, like Zach and stuff like that. Like I'm just kind of like chilling, like kind of like as a homie. But I mean, like no, he's cool. He's cool. So
did you feel like that on the inside though?
Maybe like at the very beginning, I was like, whoa, like I'm chilling with Zach Steffen, like what's going on? and then like after a while, because I was there for like 2 days or 3 days. So like after a while, I was just like, all right.
Yeah. Oh, you're normal. You ain't that cool.
You ain't that cool.
And what's crazy is he's probably thinking the same thing of you at this point, man. The hottest guy on the market. No. Yeah.
You Daryl, you've been doing the rounds a little bit. Did you get any media training while you were at UVA? This seems like it's kind of all of a sudden.
No, not really. I mean, I think they like told us like a few things to like do and not to do, but like in honesty, like no, not really. I just kind of act myself, I guess. I just kind of act myself and say whatever, and I don't know, that's just how I am.
Yeah. That's the best way to do it. That's the only way to do it. It's we obviously did a little research and we were reviewing your career and how you kind of jumped into this, and it all happened pretty fast, didn't it? I mean, you were almost a year ago still at UVA, drafted in January, and now sitting in Barnsley, walking around Manchester with Zach Steffen, thinking about plotting your next move. I mean, does it ever hit you just how quick it happened?
No, it does. Like, because sometimes, I kind of sit there and think like, wow, my life has just changed, just completely. Because I mean, 18 months ago, I had just gotten drafted, and even like a year ago today, I hadn't played my first professional match because of COVID and stuff like that. So I hadn't played until, August. And so like just how quickly everything has changed, it's just like sometimes I'm like, wow, like that's, just kind of like how far, football could take me in terms of, playing with Orlando and then, getting my first national team cap and then, now playing in England. So, I mean, everything's gone crazy so quick.
Did you, I mean, we all have dreams, right? When you're coming out of college, did you expect this? Not expect, that's the wrong word. Was this your goal to get over to England and to play this well and to kind of take this path, or you were just going to take it as it comes?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of like a mix of both. So, from a young age, you always, you turned on your Saturday morning, Sunday morning, and, like the Prem is always on, or, English football is always on. So like, that's kind of how I've kind of grown up watching that and kind of thinking, wow, I really want to play like that. I really want to be able to, play in those leagues and, play with these top players. And then, when I first started with Orlando, I'm being honest, I did not know what to expect, and I knew it was probably going to be difficult because just from looking at, past drafts and, past rookies and stuff like that, not everybody does very well. And not saying I did like incredible, but, not everyone does very well. And some people, I was prepared to kind of know that I'll struggle at the beginning, which at the beginning, I didn't get rostered for the first, I don't know how many games.
Right.
But,
yeah,
and
let's be honest, Orlando was also an absolute dumpster fire for a while there too as an organization, which that's the reality. Like they were struggling to figure it out.
Let us say it. You can't say it. We'll say it for you.
So when you go there, what was Poppy like? I mean, how did that? I mean, that's a transition in and of itself. I mean, he's intense.
Yeah, no, Fabian, Josema, Diego, like all of them, very, very intense. Like I had nothing really to compare it to because obviously it was my first, professional coach, but just like from being there, obviously transition to college, I was like, wow, these guys are pretty intense. And then after talking with the other guys and stuff, like Nani and other players who have, been playing for a while, they also agreed that the coaches were very, very intense. I mean, you could also tell that, like, I think it helps because I mean, like, you can see how, Orlando's done in the past versus, what we did last year, how they've already started off this year. And I think, like,
Yep.
I think Oscar is kind of like a big part of that. And I think it's good to have someone like that, So, no, for me, it's good for me because it kind of threw me in the deep end, kind of let me know, like, okay, this is how the expectations are to, succeed, to be good. If you have a coach like that who kind of is already pushing you from the get-go and, trying so hard to make sure you're operating at the top of your level, it's kind of, it's good to start off with that, rather than starting low and then build your way up. I'd rather be just, tossed in.
What was something that Oscar was always getting on you about that you can remember? What was
He always, well, honestly, they all got on to me about different things. So Oscar's main thing was just my movement. He always was talking. He was like, you're a big guy and stuff like that. So I think in terms of your movement, you can be such a good player, with your movement. And I think that's something that I have gotten so much better at. And I think, throughout my life, I've always kind of been one of the bigger people, and kind of always used my athleticism. And he was kind of someone was like, okay, listen, like I can tell like your brain's working, but and he just kind of started tweaking little things here and there, and that was kind of his thing. And then Josema, him and I always every training session, he'd come after, and he always worked on my similar to Oscar, but like movement, like whether it be like crosses. That's all him and I always worked on. And then Fabian always stressed me because he was like, you need to be in top shape. he is one of the, I mean, in terms of fitness coaches I've ever had, he is one of the most intense people I've ever had. And not even just me, like after talking to like Nani, talking to like Dom, and those guys are like, yeah, he is the most intense fitness coach I ever had. Like, and so like squats every day, running, preseason, like 3 trainings a day, like only one of them with a ball. Like,
that sounds like fun.
That's what you walked out of. You walked out of a UVA frat house straight into 3 a days.
Yeah, I was sitting there and I was like, well, because I'd already mentally prepared myself. I was like, okay, I know this is gonna be hard, blah blah. And then next thing you know, we're going to Cancun, and I'm like, man, like this is great. We're going to Cancun. and all the other guys are like, looking at me like, dude, like, they're like, dude, like, you don't want to go to Cancun. And I was like, why? Like, it's gonna be fun. And they're like, no, like we're going to run and lift weights, like
in
on the
extreme
beach.
heat.
Which fair. I'd rather be doing that in Cancun than like doing it in Orlando. Not obviously like Orlando's gorgeous. But I mean, like getting away, like it was a nice environment. And after the beach workouts, you're at the beach, so you just go in the water. So that was nice. But that was kind of the first thing, getting tossed in and just kind of being like, okay, so this is kind of how the next step is. It's
work.
It's work. It is a lot of work. I mean, I was ready for it, and I'm happy for it as well.
And it happened quick. That was pretty. So who was your crew in Orlando when you got there? You mentioned Nani a couple times. So, did he take you under his wing a little bit?
Yeah. So like, well, in terms of like actual like. So like on the field, in terms of that, it was Dom, Nani, Dom and Nani were the main ones. Nani always was in my head. He always every single training, it was me, him, Josema, and then one of the younger guys, Jordan Bender. Like we'd always be doing stuff. After training, we'd all, Nani was almost like another coach to us. So he was like father. And then Dom, before he unfortunately got injured, he did a lot of things as well. And no, it's great to have guys like that. And then in terms of people who I hung out with off the field, I mean, I hung out with most of the younger guys. So Jordan Bender, Joey Desart, Benji Michel, David Luera, so I hung out with one of them, and Kamal Miller before, now he's at Montreal.
Yeah. I mean, Dom, I've seen Dom work in the off season and at practice. I mean, he was a hard worker. That was his MO. I mean, that's how he knew what he had to do to be good in the league. Was Nani the same at this part in his career? I mean, was he out practicing his craft? Was he somebody that you looked at, or was he more just, helping you on the mental side and what you should be doing, basically?
No, for sure. I think it's so it's funny you mentioned that. So like Dom and Nani, in terms of helping me, they both kind of did things in different ways. I think Dom kind of always helped me with the mental side. Because me at the beginning, I knew it was going to be hard, and he could tell, obviously, like, at the beginning I was, getting frustrated because, I was working really hard. I was trying to, stay after training, do all these extra things. I'm just naturally pretty hard on myself. And Dom just kind of pulled me aside and was like, listen, dude, like, just keep working, like your time will come. And, you know, he kind of kept telling me all these things, you know, more on the mental side to kind of help drive me, help get, you know, kind of the working mentality in that way. And then Nani was more on like the footballing brain in terms of my movement, my technique and things like that. Cause he always, you know, he'd always tell me, of course, he'd be like Lukaku. He's like, you see guys like him. He's like, I promise you, if you do this, 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 and this, like you will be as good as him. You can do. And so, you know, having someone like that who obviously, you know, played Champions League, you know, won Premier League and, you know, done a whole bunch of things like that, to be able to tell you those things and go out of his way to work is really good. But to like go back to your question, I'm sorry. Just
No, this is good. This is good.
to go back to your question, yeah, no, like Nani, you know, you would think like, oh, he's, you know, the stereotype of, you know, people coming back to MLS to, you know, relax and stuff like that, which is just false. But he is someone that works so hard. You can still see him after training. He'll go and, you know, he'll take his free kicks. He works on his, you know, cutting inside the box, doing little drills and stuff like that just by himself. And you can see that even at the age of 34, he still tries to improve. And that's something that, you know, watching that, you're just like, okay, you know why he operates at the level he does, and, you know, why he does the things he does, because he, you know, he trains for it. And I don't doubt that he's, you know, just now starting at 33, 34 to train like that. I feel like he's probably done that majority of his career, you know?
That's a good example. I'm curious, you know, to back that up. That's pretty cool of Dom. I mean, if you think about it, to have somebody that, you know, you're going for his position essentially, right? I mean, you're a center striker, he's a center striker, and for somebody to go up to you, you know, and help you out, and we all know that. I mean, that's important. So my question is this: that happens a lot in the MLS. I feel like I used to do that to younger guys. I'm sure Dan did it. Sal, you're probably doing it now, you know, help out the younger guys. Does that happen in England? Because I heard, you know, and I haven't played overseas, but I heard it's cutthroat. And I don't know if anybody's coming up to you and giving you the same, you know, encouragement and advice as they would in the MLS. Is that true? Or can you speak on that?
I can't speak for entirety of England, but I can speak for Brunswick. You know, that's what I've seen. And for the most part, the team's already a pretty young group as it is. So like in terms of, you know, our starting lineup, I think most guys are 23, 24, 25. And then Colley's like 27. Sully, if he starts, is 30. So I mean, like the whole squad's pretty young as it is. But no, I think when I first came to the team, that was kind of one of the first things I was kind of surprised, because kind of similar as you said. I mean, Nani had even kind of, you know, told me about this before coming. He was like, listen, like in England, it's going to be hard. He was like, some players are not very nice. He was like, I'm just going to let you know, like what me and, you know, other guys around here do. You may not find that over there in England, you know. And same with not even just the players, but the staff. You know, sometimes, you know, they're going to be very, very difficult on you. But I think in terms of Barnsley, I think the coaching staff has kind of done a really good job to kind of come, you know, up to me and try and work on, you know, specific things. And, you know, Colley, the striker as well, he's kind of told me, you know, many tips to, you know, kind of get by in the league and, you know, improve in the league, which is really good. So, and, you know, now in terms of, you know, being direct competition, Colley, you know, him and I, you know, we play together a lot, you know, a lot of games, you know, we're starting together. So it's great to have, you know, people like that around. And I think in terms of I think people realize that the competition is good. I think obviously competition is good, you know, it pushes people to get better, but at the same time, you can't let it get in the way of, you know, the game, in the way of, you know, playing. And I think collectively, you know, in your best interest, you want to go out of your way to, you know, just, I personally think it's, you know, it's a good thing to go help other people regardless. But also, you know, like for the good of the team, you know, that person being better will ultimately make the group do better, make you do better. So I mean, I think it's you know, it's something that's good.
Yeah, changing gears a little bit, Daryl, you come from a bit of a soccer family, right? Your sister plays for Nigeria. You have a cousin that plays, and then obviously Bright DK, who I played with in Portland. How big of a, you know, influence was that? You know, because you guys are a pretty big age gap there. So when he was playing at Portland, you know, maybe you were, you know, 11, 12, 13 years old. Were you a Timbers fan? Did you watch or go to any of the games?
No, yeah, I think in terms of influence, you know, football has kind of been, and soccer has always kind of been in my, you know, family's culture everywhere. So I mean, my parents, you know tons about the game. And you said, you know, my only brother, and my youngest sister, they both play. But everybody, all my sisters, you know well about the game. And I think it's good because everybody kind of, it's a footballing culture. You know, you go home and you see the medals, you see the trophies, you see it on TV. There's always conversations about it. There's, some people in our house, supported different teams, so there would be that kind of feedback, and it's good. And for me, when growing up from a young age, I mean, Bright's 12, 13 years older than me, so like, for me, he's kind of always been my direct inspiration, person that I could always look up to, because I mean, I was following his career all the time, because I mean, obviously he's my brother, and he kind of is what I aspired to be, and what I aspired to surpass when I grew up to his level. And I think no, it's good for me, because being able to see him maybe get knocked down through a few injuries, and see the kind of experiences he had, whether it be with Portland, Toronto, or when he went overseas. It's good for me, because I kind of was able to witness that and kind of learn from that, and grow and be able to not only just watch that as a footballer, but like as a brother, and be able to see how it was truly affecting his life.
Can you imagine those 1v1 duels in the backyard? What's the age difference between you guys?
So Bright's, was he 34?
Bright's my age, yeah.
Yeah, Bright's 34, Kim's 31, Courtney and Brittany are both 26 and 27. So I mean,
jeez,
who's winning a push-up contest? I mean, that's really where we settled all bets in our
Look at him. He's beefing up.
I think it might be me on that one.
Bright was a big boy, man. I'll tell you what.
Bright was a beast. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I've tried to fight that dude so many times when I was younger, and I'm not gonna lie, he just whooped me every single time. But now it's a fair competition. Now it's a fair competition. I caught up.
He ain't trying to flex now.
I caught up. That experience comes in handy, though. You gotta watch out for that.
No, he's getting like the old man.
The dad strength.
The dad strength. The guy. It's like my dad.
We know it all too well, Daryl. We know it all.
I was gonna say, my dad's not the biggest guy, but I still will not mess with that dude. I know that dude will smack me up. Oh my goodness.
He's always gonna have that.
No, for sure. It's some dad strength. I guess like when you just magically just get the strength out of nowhere, and I just don't have it yet.
Yeah, it's the never give up gene, because you don't have a choice. You have to wake up every single morning and deal with kids. You do not have a choice. So once that happens, it's like everything else is easy.
For sure. And I also think it's kind of like
Daryl, Gordo was talking a little bit about when you were coming out, kind of aspirations, right? And aspirations in playing over Barnsley. I'm interested more in this process that you went through, and getting drafted and going to Orlando, and coming out of college, right? The whole college narrative has taken a little bit of a knock recently. Like, kids can't go to college and play college soccer and then be successful. And now here you are, I think, completely dispelling that myth, right? Which I'm a big proponent. I went to college, I was at Georgetown and played, but the game is now different, right? So now here you are at UVA, and you're thinking about, okay, what's my next step? I'm going into MLS. Am I going to have success? Are there players that you were looking at, that you were watching do similar things, that you wanted to model kind of your pathway after? Or did you just think, okay, I'm going to get in here and I'm going to tear it up, and I'm going to tear it up whoever's going to give me the first opportunity?
No, yeah, and I think not even just college. I think from a young age, you kind of see that a lot. Because for me, I'm from Oklahoma, so there's no academy, there's no DA, there's none of that. And for me, you look at all these youth national team camps, you see guys like Mark McKenzie, you see Paxton, you see all these guys, and you're like, wow, all these
getting
guys
hype early, right?
Getting hype early and stuff like that. I'm trying to think of his name. Andrew Carlton at a young age, he was like the face of guys my year. And so you see all these guys, and you look at them, and you're like, oh, they all play at academy, and you're playing like club, like playing high school, and you're like, wow, so I guess I will never be able to do that, But and you do kind of sit back, and you just kind of think, it's like, that may be the path that they took. But you also recognize, like, for me, it was my brother. I was able to see my brother. He did the same thing. He went to college. He played professionally. Unfortunate injuries and stuff like that. But I think he was able to live out his dreams. And I think for me, I just kind of realized maybe I do have to work a little bit harder. Maybe I have to do other things that these other people did not have to do. But I think just kind of work and keep pushing myself, and things will work out in the end. I think for me, going to UVA was a big step. And, I was just kind of showing myself every single training session, every single game, how can I get better? How can I improve? Because I knew no matter what path, I knew the end goal, what I wanted. And I knew, that I would have to do, I'd have to work extra hard. I know I'd have to do a lot of these things to, be able to achieve those goals. And that's kind of was my big driving force. And, having my brother, having my family behind me to support me, and not even just my family, coaches from home, UVA coaches, and, players around me to, kind of drive me to that was literally the reason I'm here where I am right now.
Yeah.
What was your brother's advice to you? I mean, he's done it, right? And so, and he saw the game change, as he was playing in it. So what did he advise you to do? And I mean, was he your source or your dad?
So, I mean, both of them are my source. I think Bright probably more was it, but no, Bright's thing was just kind of keep working and be so good that, people can't deny you of what you want, if that makes sense.
That's great advice.
Be so good that people can't look at you and think, oh, this, or maybe he's not good enough for this, or they're thinking like, okay, we have to play him, we have to get
basically score goals, because then they can't not play you.
Do things like that. Just, and for me that was kind of his thing, is giving me pieces of advice, in terms of movements or ways of thinking about the game that a normal what was it, 18, 17 or whatever at the time, may not be thinking about that. And, things that he had learned like later on throughout his career, that he was like, okay, trust me, like if you do this early, if you start, getting the hang of this, holding up the ball, if you start doing this early, people will love that, and it'll make your life so much easier. So, being able to kind of have those tips and learning those things at a, at a younger age from someone who's kind of been there and knows, what to expect is, kind of something that he kind of always reminded me to, use your resources and, use all these things like him.
That's good. I mean, sorry, Dan, but that's good advice. He's basically, it was less about the path. He said, don't worry about the path, worry about yourself. And if you're a baller, like things will happen. You'll make it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That's pretty badass. I like that.
The path takes care of itself if you control what you control, right? That is great advice. When you were going, before we get to Barnsley and before we get to that path, I thought that, and I'm sure you've rehashed this a million times over the past few weeks, but when you got first your national team call up, and then the timing of the loan deal to Barnsley, and all this stuff happens within like a 48-hour period, right? Who was the call? Who's the call that you made to say, okay, is this happening? Should I do this? Which way is up right now? Because it seemed like it was, you were getting, drinking from a fire hose all at the same time.
Yeah. No, and I think this person has kind of been a celebrity in this conversation. Brian again. I talked to him. We talked to him mostly, and then I talked to the rest of my family. Talked to Coach Faley, one of my coaches from home, and just kind of thought of this was a huge opportunity for me. This was a big opportunity for me, but for me, I kind of told all of them, like, I want to focus on, the national team. I've been here for a while because it was January camp. So I'd been there for a very, very long time. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay, I want to focus on this. I could potentially get my first national team cap, so that, like, let alone all the Barnsley and, going to play over there. I was like, I could get, something you work for. I think every single player kind of works for in their entire career to be able to, represent a country and,
mm-hmm.
Represent the national team in, a huge pool of, American players across the world, not even just the country. So
was there any consideration for Nigeria?
Of course, I think for me, I was just because, like, obviously Bright and my cousin played for them. And I think, people, I recognize that, I can play for both and stuff like that. But for me, I was just gonna let see where my career kind of took me, and
mm-hmm.
USA came and taught, like, kind of like integrated me and showed me things around and kind of taught me. So that was just kind of where the first place that kind of turned my head. And I don't regret it. I'm happy with how things have gone as well for that. But yeah. And
that call up was in Orlando, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was in Orlando. So
that's wild, man.
Yeah, it was literally in Exploria Stadium. So yeah. That happened, and then after the game, I mean, I was, literally like out the next day coming to Barnsley. And, luckily I had all my things because I was in Orlando. But I mean, I could only imagine if I was like across, because, obviously they're guys from LA or,
Yeah.
or so, I could only imagine if I had to travel across the country, then pack my things and then go. So, but I mean, luckily I was already in Orlando and it was already it was preseason as well. So, I mean, I wouldn't have been doing that much. And except,
And
well, it
and I
wasn't
mean,
preseason. Preseason hadn't even started yet, actually. But
right, because it's COVID year too.
yeah, exactly. So everything got pushed back. So I mean, they didn't start preseason until like a month or two ago. Like they didn't start. It took them a while to start preseason. So this was all the way in end of January.
That's great. I mean, have you had a chance to talk to Josie at all? Was he in camp with you in any camp? Because I know he has a similar path, right? I mean, he spent more time in the MLS initially, but he goes over and has his stint in England and then, comes back, and Josie's one of the best US strikers of all time. Similar build and all that kind of stuff. I mean, do you look at him as I mean, have you had that opportunity to talk to him?
Yeah, I mean, he was at camp at the January camp. So like that was kind of something as well. I think, unfortunately, I think he tweaked his hamstring, so he didn't actually get to play in the game. But, after, talking to him and being like, kind of telling him about things, because I remember there being like, rumors and other things about like me moving before in January. And so just after talking to him about all that stuff, and he was just like, listen, like, you just keep pushing, you keep working, and, the things will come. And he always kind of pushed me to get better as a player, even while I was at camp, and training me to have like competitions anytime we were doing a little finishing drill. So it's good to kind of have a guy to look at him and see all the things he's done, and he's kind of similar to me and how we play, our style and everything like that, to be able to get words that he gave me. And it was good. I enjoyed that for sure.
You had to play in that game too. In order for the Barnsley loan to go through, you had to step on the field, correct?
I did.
What?
So
What do you mean?
So I guess
the work permit, right?
Yeah, for like the work permit and everything to get it to work, because you have to play like a X amount of national team games or something like that. And because of COVID, I guess because of COVID, and then because I wasn't 21 at the time, well, still not 21, but because of COVID and because of like the age and stuff like that, because I was able to play in that game, I guess they were able to work things out, and then I was able to come over here.
Dude, so educate us a little bit. What is, I know that you guys are now in the promotion battle, right? So you play on Monday, but like educate us on what the process is looking like. Your loan deal has been extended. Are you in still a negotiation? Like where are we at?
So I mean originally, obviously the loan was till like
May 3rd, I think.
Yeah, it's something like that. And because the team was in 12th, 13th when I first came here. So I mean, like, not that we just didn't think they were going to make playoffs, but like, it's hard to say we're going to go and make playoffs if we're in 13th. And then after that, the team has done very, very, very well, and we kind of shot up. We've been doing very well, and so extended the loan. And for now, I'm just playing it out, and then obviously head back to Orlando. Take everything that I've learned here, and grow as a player, unless other things happen. But I don't really focus on that. I kind of do what I can do now, and focus on the playoffs now, because getting up to getting promotion would be kind of be the end goal.
I mean, that's a big deal. I mean, how can you walk around the city? I mean, these guys, everybody pays attention there, correct?
Yeah,
can you walk around or not?
No, I can. And it's funny because it's something that's very different, because I mean, obviously, I think soccer's growing in the States. I think it's obviously huge, but at the same time, I can walk around Orlando and be perfectly fine. Like, people aren't gonna be like, oh, it stopped me. But like here, and it's not like people will stop me, but I mean, if I go to the store, like the grocery store, like a corner store, something like that, or like
everybody
when
knows.
I was taking, like, I took like a taxi to go to Manchester, and like as I was walking to the taxi, like there was like people like eating outside a restaurant, and they all were like looking over. I waved, and I was like, hello.
Hello, I see you staring at me. Yes,
yeah,
it is me.
And like, so like, no, like I can like walk around and still do things like normal. And even in Manchester, like when I went like with Zach, like he was still able to like walk around and obviously like we're not able to like go out and stuff like that, especially because of like, COVID restrictions and things like that. And, our seasons are still good. It's still like, tight, but it's, no, it was good for, it's good because I can still walk around and, fans are nice. Like nobody's actually like harassing me or doing anything. So no, it's good. And I don't think it's
Daryl, not to give away my age, and obviously I'm the same age as your brother Bright, but I actually was teammates with your coach Ismail. So strangely, oddly enough, but how has he kind of in Hanover the last his last 3 years, my first 3 years. So how has he kind of helped you kind of succeed at Barnsley, and what kind of advice has he given you?
Yeah, he's kind of helped me on kind of, the attitude, the kind of like work rate kind of thing. And I think in terms of, you can look at the championship and you can, kind of instantly see how physically demanding the league is. Because I mean, every team has, everyone must have at least 2 6'5" center backs on their team. Everybody plays five. Yeah, it's mandatory. It's actually
like, this is gonna be fun.
It's one of the requirements for playing.
Yeah. Oh, great. Yippee.
So that was like one thing. So you can see maybe like more like a direct style of play in the championship, and that was kind of the thing he kind of prepared me for it. He was like, okay, listen, there's gonna be times where you're gonna get pushed, you're gonna have to fight for balls, you're gonna have to work, you're gonna in terms of pressing kind of relentlessly to make the opposition uncomfortable and doing things like that. And he kind of taught me little cues and little movements to because every defender's first cue, just because of how the league is to get physical and try and do things. And kind of he was teaching me things how I can get out of that in terms of my movement separation with defenders and doing things like that. And having that's kind of like been his main piece, is like one, the physical side, knowing having the fighting mentality and pushing. He always says like having a lion mentality. So that, and then in terms of being able to find space away from people, just so I don't get myself involved in physical battles all the time.
Did you talk to any of the other guys that went over in the January window, Aronson or McKenzie? I know you're buddies with McKenzie, right? So do you talk about their process in kind of leaving in a COVID year?
No, so I talked to Brendan and I talked to Mark, both of them same exact thing. They don't do anything. You can't do anything, because I mean, everywhere aside from the United States, it seems to be in lockdown.
Yeah,
here
it's a free for all over here. No big deal.
I mean, given the vaccines everywhere over there, so it's fine. Like here, people still haven't even gotten the vaccine. So like that was kind of their thing, is they're like, yeah, I don't do anything, but Brendan plays Rocket League, Mark plays Warzone, so like like literally you just can't really do that much aside from train and then hang out with some of your teammates. So that's obviously like the difficult part is how do you manage your time, like what do you do? And so I mean,
you're not a gamer.
Oh, he's gotta be a big gamer. Yeah.
Oh, you're a gamer. What's your game?
For sure. So I'm actually still in school, so I still do some school. I'll work on that, and then I play Warzone and FIFA. So.
I like how you got that school plug out for moms. If moms,
that's just for my families. That's just so my mom knows I'm not sitting here wasting my life away playing.
Mom,
hours of Warzone.
I make sure I do 10 minutes of homework, and then I do 4 hours of gaming.
I eat a good meal, and then I game.
Yeah, exactly. I game and do homework in between the pregame lobbies.
So game on Monday, and then when's the follow-up fixture?
22nd, which is
22nd. Okay, so I think it's the 17th and 22nd.
Yeah, 17th.
So all this stuff you've been on, in a bit of a tornado right now, or a whirlwind for your life over the past couple months, and it's all seeming to come to a head here. Who's your agent, by the way?
Ron Waxman.
Okay, so Waxman handles all that deal on the business side of things, and you're plugging away. Are you hoping? Obviously, you're hoping you're going to be in the mix. I saw you came off the bench against Nottingham, right, in the last game.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a shot at being in the lineup in the 11?
Yeah, I would hope so. I mean, obviously, I'm being honest with you, I have no idea. I mean, usually we start finding out those kind of things and days leading up to the game. So I mean, I assume I'll find out very soon. But no, I mean, hopefully hopefully I will play a part. Whether it be starting, whether it be on the bench. I just kind of want to go out there and make an impact. Help push the team into getting good a good result at home, because just going to Barnsley, how obviously home field advantage, and now there's going to be a few fans as well, so be able to play in front of a few fans for the first time will be great here.
Oh wow, that I didn't realize that dynamics. This is the first game that'll have fans in the stadium.
Oh
yeah, it's not a lot, but I mean obviously it'll be a few fans, so like that'll be nice.
Anything's
for sure.
better, right?
Yeah, going from crickets to hearing anything will be completely different.
Totally.
No, actually
Can't hear your coach yelling at you from all the way across the field.
Or you just pretend you can't hear him.
I can almost guarantee you in a full stadium I would still be able to hear him.
Yeah, but you can at least pretend like I can't hear you. Now you got no excuses.
What did you say?
How many goals? You have 9 goals?
Yeah, 9 goals.
9 goals. How many starting? How many off the bench? Do you know?
No, I think 12 or 13 starts, like 4 or 5 off the bench.
Okay, so kind of split. What do you prefer? I mean, every player wants to start, right? Is that even a question? You just want to start?
Yeah, I want to start.
Yeah, you're not.
You play longer, you play more. I want to start, of course.
Yeah.
You got
I like that answer.
Yeah, I mean, who doesn't want to start? But I always found like it was easier.
I
don't. I always found like it was easier for.
Dude, I love 10 minutes in a goal. I could walk the next day. It was perfect.
No, I mean, like obviously, like that's great. If you come on at the end of the game and you score, you're like, oh wow, that was.
Yeah, right.
Like,
it doesn't happen.
I'll take that. But,
doesn't happen often enough.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's just like
Well, all right. Well, good luck. I mean, this is what a massive moment. And I'll tell you what, man, I know that you've probably heard this a few times, but a lot of people are pulling for you back here in the States and want to continue to see your success. So it's inspiring what you're doing, especially at the age that you're doing it. And all the advice, I think it probably clarifies, a couple of things for us in your upbringing and keeping you grounded, why you've had so much success. So you stick with that type of thing and you're going to go a ways, man.
Yeah. So Daryl, before we go, there's one more segment we do. It's called Plead the Fifth. We're going to ask you 5 questions. You can plead the fifth to one of them. Okay. Okay. Gordo will read the questions to you.
I gotta save it to the fifth one because
yeah, we're gonna.
They do get hard. They do get harder.
Like, 3 and 4 and then fifth is gonna be like, oh, okay.
They're not. Yeah, they're not too crazy. You should be all right.
We took it pretty easy on you.
Yeah, we took it easy.
All right. We do want to know a few things. Just give me craziest false rumor you've heard about yourself. Have you heard any?
When I was younger, people at recess used to say I put metal in my shoes because I could kick the ball really hard. Some kids would sit there and this is not a lie at all. Like, some kids would go and like try and take my like shoes and stuff like that. And be like, oh, you have metal in your shoes and that's why you can kick so hard. I'm like, no, like
so that's false.
How it works. That is false.
That would be a good move though.
It'd come with the metal detector to school.
Yeah, exactly.
He's super slow, but he can kick it a mile.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. I mean, we kind of went over this a little bit.
Wait, do you have the old questions?
Yeah, you probably do, Gordo.
We'll give.
I'll read the second question.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. All right. If you could start, bench, or cut these 3 cities, ready? Or I guess places: Oklahoma, Orlando, or Barnsley. Start, bench, cut.
I got the new questions.
I think I would start. I'd start Oklahoma just because like home buddy. I'd bench Orlando and I'd probably sit Barnsley. Nothing against Barnsley. I just think Orlando kind of has a little bit of weather, a little bit more beaches and nicer weather.
Okay, fair enough.
That's fair. Good answer.
Lovely. Better jersey, U.S. men's national or Nigeria?
Nigeria. I think Nigeria, like the like green and white, like checkers. Those are so.
It's the nicest in the world, really, in my opinion.
It's clean, dude.
Yeah.
You know when it's Nigeria from across the bar. You're like, yep.
Yeah. Oh no, those jerseys are clean.
They are.
I probably
statement pieces.
Over or under 50% chance you're going back to Orlando after your stint over wherever you are next.
The line's 50-50. Are you taking the over or under?
Yeah, I know. I have to think about
Or are
it.
you taking the plead?
See, I don't know what this next question is. So I'm trying to.
I'll give you the last one's not too hard. Not
No,
too
I plead the fifth on that one.
Okay.
Does Orlando have your rights? I mean, if you wanted to go back, do they have first right of refusal?
Yeah, I mean, like there's like the buyout clause and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
I mean, like, yeah.
All right, so he's pleading the fifth. All right, so we know what that means.
Before we go to five, is Barnsley still in their like exclusive period? Like, does that still exist for them with the loan extension?
What do you mean by exclusion period?
Like it's their right to purchase your rights.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so with the loan extension, they still extend that right.
Mm-hmm.
Got it.
Okay, if you can. Okay, this is it's a
Gordo wouldn't be able to do this, by the way.
I would definitely not. I could do give us your starting 11 for the US in the next World Cup. Okay.
The next World Cup. All right.
So Zach's in goal.
All right. So Zach's in
Your
goal.
boy.
I think Zach's in goal.
And we don't even really care about the defenders. I mean, you can do that, but defenders are
Story of
defenders.
our
life. We
I wanna
care,
know
we
about
care.
the attacking guys.
I think Johnny will be in the back. Man, that's hard. Center back, who will be with John? Honestly, I think Alo's sick. I know some people like to go and be like, oh, he plays in the MLS. I think Alo's sick. I think he's very, very good.
I played with him, and yeah, he's the real
I'm
deal.
gonna
I
look
like
him
Aaron.
up.
Yeah.
Aaron Long. Aaron Long is the.
Yeah.
Oh, Aaron Long.
You played with Aaron Long, right?
Okay.
Yeah. Aaron Long, Serginho. I'll say Anthony.
All right.
And, in the midfield, I think I'll say Tyler. Eunice, and Weston. Front three, I'd say Christian, Gio, and I'll say Josh. With me coming on the bench.
No.
Look at that modesty. Look at that
Damn.
modesty.
I
No,
respect
Josh is
it.
sick. I'm sorry.
Hey, that's a nice squad, dude. Are you?
That is a squad.
Are you pumped about? You know,
It's super exciting because I mean, like, you know, before, like, some people would be like, oh, like, this person is just good because, like, oh, they're an American, but like now you actually see these guys and they're like actually, like, you know, not just American stars, like they are stars, you know, flat out, like, you know, top quality players, and not even to mention all of us are like 20 and 23 aside from like a few players, like.
dude, it's
crazy.
exciting, man. It's really, I'm pumped for it.
Yeah.
Why is you got excited talking about Aaron Long, and he is a bit of a divisive figure in opinions. Why do you love him? What do you love about him?
I think like the one thing that you don't really get to see is you get to see like how much of a leader he is. I think he's every single time you see him in like a small-sided game or, you know, any type of possession drill, you can see how much like his, you know, kind of leading persona kind of gives off. And when you're on his team, you know, you kind of feel that and you want to push, you want to drive, and I think that's good. And also, like, I just personally respect like so many people because I know there's so many phenomenal players who get national team caps from the MLS that like some people like to sit there and criticize like, oh, they're MLS players, but I mean, like, I think there are tons of MLS players that can play in Europe. Don't get me wrong. I think that, you know, the top 5 leagues are better than the MLS, but like I still think that, you know, guys like Seva, guys like Kellen, and, you know, Alo, like they're more than capable of doing that. And I truly love that about them, that they obviously, you know, don't let anything like that kind of, you know, get in the way of that, you know, how they play, that they still go out there and, you know, they do their thing because they know the quality that they have. And Alo, I think in terms of, you know, how he leads, how comfortable on the ball he is, I think those are things I enjoy, you know, about him.
I know it's a different league, but kind of where does the championship kind of, you know, fit in with the MLS as far as ranking goes? You know, obviously certain things about the championship are probably harder than the MLS, but just talk about the two differences within the league.
I think obviously the style of play is much more different. I think a lot of teams in the MLS, you know, like to, you know, keep the ball on the ground a little bit more, pass it around. And I think in the championship, much more physical, you know, kind of pressing attitude and, you know, more direct kind of style of play, whether it be balls over the top or through balls. In terms of, you know, like a level, I would say the championship probably edges it out a little bit, but in all honesty, I think a lot of teams in the MLS could play in the championship and wouldn't get like, I think they would, they would hold their own. They would do very, very well. So I think that's because that's one thing that I realized. Like, obviously, I knew it was going to be difficult, and I'm not going to say like the transition was easy because no chance was it, and it still isn't. But like, I think that coming from MLS to the championship, like, you see how good the MLS is when you come over here because you're like, okay, like,
Yeah, it's not as far back as you think. Yeah.
Exactly. Kind of how media kind of wants you to see, you to think it is versus actually playing.
What are the chances you come back with a slight English accent? I mean, it happens a lot. I mean, there's a lot of guys that come back and you're like, wait, what? Aren't you from like Kansas?
I've been here for like 2 months, 3 months, so I will say like 0.
Wait, you haven't
also locked in his apartment for 2 or 3 months.
Exactly. I haven't even had. I probably still had more conversations with people with an American accent than people with English accents here.
You're gonna pick up a few things.
No,
literally.
Literally, I don't
mate. Everything's mate.
I do say mate more.
Yeah.
I think I probably say that a little bit more.
I still do it. I answer the phone. I'm like,
yeah.
oh, hello.
I feel like that's no, but like on all honesty, I think low key that is like just like a soccer kind of thing.
Yeah,
I think
mates become a soccer
like,
thing for
yeah,
sure.
I think it's just kind of become a soccer thing. So like regardless, because I feel like I said that a lot when I was, when I was playing in the MLS.
It's trickled down. It's trickled down
exactly.
for sure. Well, Daryl, dude, thank you for coming on, man. I appreciate you taking your time and joining us. Really appreciate it.
Hey,
you're top class, man. Top class.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Good luck. Good luck the rest of the way, and I hope to see you as our starting 9 for the national team. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, a couple more goals in the next couple of games too. It'd be great to see it.
We'll be watching, buddy.
I will try my hardest.
All right, we'll let you go, Daryl. Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much, guys.
All right, see you, big man.
Thanks.